guest today is Roland Willits. He's a fascinating character. He's lived a full, rich life, and he's lived his life in a way that has accumulated lots of really fascinating stories. And now he's gotten to the point where he's not only going to share those stories with the rest of the world, but encourage and teach them how to share stories with each other. So, starting out, Roland, what motivated you to get started with this whole old man stories thing?
Oh, actually, Toastmasters got me involved in that. See, I was really fascinated when I started Toastmasters a little over a year ago. And I got up and talked, and I saw people's eyes, and I said, I love telling stories. This is really cool. And they had to have a speech with it. You had to have points. So I performed the points, but I love telling the stories. And over the years, I advanced as far as I could in communication with Toastmasters. And I said, what can I add more that I might add something to community? And I said, telling stories, people telling their personal stories, preserving life.
That's fantastic. So, if your Old Men Stories group fulfills your vision of what you want it to be, what will it look like? What's it going to become?
Well, just a little example. I looked, I said, I have to set up an address for each one of them. And I set it up, and I had USA-Minnesota-Pelican, and I put something in front called E. I had E underlined. Now, you ask me, why E underline? Well, because E means Earth. I wanted to go the next step. I wanted to have an M underlined for Mars, and O underlined for the moon. That's what I would like to have. I would like to have someone from the moon or from Mars say, this is an old man story for Roland.
Well, maybe we can get them to have an International Space Station story just to get a start in the right direction. So, how do you think being involved in Old Man Stories will help your membership? What's in it for the people who join up and see your vision of the future?
It gives them an opportunity to learn how to tell their life stories. Everyone has wonderful things that happen in life, and normally they just disappear. A well-presented video, lifetime story, people want to watch over and over and over again. Nothing better than a great storyteller.
That's true. So I see you've got this really cool logo. I'm just loving this logo here. What can you tell me about that?
This is done by a neighbor, Trygve Olsen. And Trygve has been a cartoonist almost all his life. And I asked her, I said, Trygve, can you do me a logo for Old Man Stories? And this one I got, you can't see it very well. But if you go look on www.oldmanstories.org, you can see a bigger picture of it. And we're going to have a whole line of clothing and coffee cups and other mementa for Old Man Stories that we're selling through a firm in Utah, I think it is.
So if people are just excited and want to jump into this, how do they get started? What can they do to hook up with you?
We're just setting up, the web site is set up to get into it. It should be ready within a couple of weeks. You just go in, you sign up, and you get listed. We're setting up clubs. Right now I have clubs set up with people I know. I've got one set up here in Minnesota. Got one set up in California. Got one set up in Sudan. Got one set up in Madras, India. Got one set up in Uganda, Africa. And I'm just working on Australia.
Wow.
So it's absolutely exciting.
I'm looking forward to hearing all those stories, and we can see them on your website at oldmanstories.org.
Org. Omanstories.com is my personal website, and that's for professional speaking. But we're talking about the club. Now, I just had something fantastic that came to mind. We're sort of modeling it like Toastmasters because I think they are fantastic, but oriented towards stories. And I looked and I said, they have what they call a CC for the first 10 stories in Toastmasters, which is a competent communicator. Well, I look and I says, we're going to have a PA and an MA. We're going to have a Ma and Pa. And MA is women's, and it is memories artist. And PA is preservation artist. So we're going to have a Ma and Pa group going. So they're getting one or the other for their first 10 stories presented. Different stories about their life and done well. And then the second step is when they get to be the next level, which is 10 more stories, they're going to be a grand Ma or a grand Pa. And if they get another 10 stories, they're going to be a great grandma or a great grandpa. So Oman Stories, you graduate on up, and you can have a lot of greats there if you're a good storyteller.
Outstanding. Thanks for coming, Roland. It's great to hear from you.
It's wonderful being here. Thank you. And thank you all.